Hey everyone, I'm the Novakin. I think one of the most important and oftentimes the hardest part of Overwatch to learn as a beginner is how to choose your hero. I think this problem stems from a misunderstanding about the role each hero fits, which I like to call role syndrome, which springs from the four main categories Blizzard has separated the heroes into. We can see these categories and think that each hero can fill the same spot as their counterparts. Rather than an intense guide on each hero, I wanted to quickly help define each hero's role to hopefully help you fill these gaps in your team composition and help you pick better. Starting with the offensive heroes, we can pick out Genji and Tracer as flankers, whose main role is to use their extremely high mobility to push into enemy territory and scout out the back line. They can use their light damage to distract teams and deal with high priority targets. Picking one flanker as part of your team's DPS can allow for the rest of your team to have an easier time at the objectives, while the enemies hopelessly take you down as you pick off their healers. The rest of the offensive lineup boasts more unique roles, so I'll define them each individually. First, Reaper functions very well as an assassin, as his garb would suggest. His kit allows him to move around the map and ambush targets around the fight. He can shred through them quickly and efficiently. His shotgun's fire and damage also allow him to take out even large tanks. Reaper works as a great pick when targets are holding down a point or a single enemy is doing a bit too well. Pre-nerf McCree held a very similar role to Reaper, but his style has now been pushed to that of more of a duelist. His good medium and close range damage allows him to take out single targets around the fight easily. While his kit lacks the sneaky that Reaper's has, he makes up for it with his left click's power even at medium range. He's a niche pick now that can give great single target damage while moving with the team. Soldier 76 functions as an infantry, a good all-around hero. His balance between short, medium, and a longish range allow him to be a great skirmisher that can lay down tons of fire, covering his team and taking out targets from almost anywhere. Soldier is a great flex pick for any offensive role. Pharah is a very unique hero that I had a really hard time defining in a single word, so I don't think I will. She works as an aerial support and barrage that can rain high damage from verticality no other heroes can achieve. She can function as a slower flanker that can overcome barriers by flying over them and breaking apart the enemy defenses while maintaining the long range damage as sort of an AoE sniper. Pharah is great on attack when you need a high damage that can overcome choke points or the ability to take out harder to hit targets from great range. Into defense we have our sniper heroes, Widowmaker and Hanzo. While they both function to deal single target long range damage, they treat the role a bit differently. Widow is your classic hit scan sniper that can deal damage at the longest of ranges, whereas Hanzo functions as a mobile backline archer who can take out priority targets along with the team. Both work great to defensively protect an area or eliminate single targets at range. Having a sniper can allow you to protect your team and pick off targets who dare to step in your zone. Junkrat is our human Mortar. He has high damage and is able to stay on the outskirt of fights and maintain sustained damage on choke points and objectives, effectively denying and harassing the enemy team. Picking Junkrat allows you to control areas without creating a direct line of sight to yourself and delivering devastating damage for your team. Bastion and Torbjorn work as true area denial heroes. These two turret masters are able to create high amounts of denial to prevent the enemy team from passing a point or reaching an area. These heroes work best on defense where they can stay back and hold the objective even when your team defenses break. Breaking from the pattern so far, I wanted to bring together three heroes from three different categories that function best as controllers: Mei, Roadhog, and Symmetra. These three break from their defined roles through their ability to hold choke points with little to no help from their allies. They are able to stop the push of the enemy team by removing targets from the fight one by one. While they all look very different on the outside, they all have great defensive abilities to not allow enemies to pass beyond their control. Picking these heroes on defense can allow for your team to hold the objective far easier because the enemy will have a hard time even reaching it. Into the tanks, they divide into two main categories, since we already took Roadhog out of the equation. The first is the defenders, Reinhardt and Zarya. They function as more or less traditional tanks, and their ability to soak damage and protect the team while pushing forward and giving them a platform on which they can safely engage the enemies. Reinhardt is one of the best picks right now on both attack and defense for his shield, which gives the team a great advantage to attack from. Zarya, while having a higher skill cap, can function similarly to Reinhardt by blocking damage on herself and other team members, allowing them to fight longer and at a great advantage to the opposition. The second category is the disruptors/initiators, Winston and d.va. These heroes work twofold to create opportunities for big plays and their ability to break apart the enemy's strategies and allow for their allies to take control. Using their defensive capabilities, these tanks can launch all-out assaults on enemies, destroying their defenses and entering their back line. Both Winston and d.va work very similarly, and their ability to use high mobility to enter the back line or rush the objective. The last set is the supports, who function as healers, since we've removed Symmetra, but in two different ways. Mercy functions as your classic medic, whose job is to keep the heroes alive, or when they're safe, to give them a bit of a boost. Her offensive capabilities are lacking, but her healing and her ult makes her a must-have for most great team comps. Our other two healers, Lucio and Zenyatta, function more as battle healers, rather than our traditional medic. They are able to move and attack with the team, supplementing damage mitigation in a passive way while providing strategic buffs that can push fights in their team's favor. Picking one of these alongside a Mercy can allow for the team to have great potential and longevity alongside the buffs and debuffs that can make them even more effective. I hope some of these definitions help you guys pick your heroes from now on. Just remember that this is not a rigid setup. Overwatch is a very dynamic game, and the team comps around it are dynamic as well. So picking your champion, use these definitions to supplement your knowledge and help you fill in the gaps that your team is lacking.